Hello there, this is Grace Ramon, your host of Organize with Grace. And I know you're very busy, and I have been meaning to ask you this. There is this overarching topic of this podcast, if you have been listening for a while or just tuned in, that of course touches all of our lives, which is the struggle to declutter our homes. And that is exactly what I want to explore with you today. Now, if you're driving or taking a walk, no worries. You can at least think about what I'm going to ask you. Now, take a moment to look around. If you are at home or in the office, what do you see? Chances are you are surrounded by stuff. We all are. And for many of us, that stuff has slowly but surely taken over our spaces, our time, maybe even our peace of mind. So here's the thing. We all know that we should declutter. We've read the articles, watched the shows, maybe even bought the book about minimalism and the life-changing magic of tidying up. I do like that book. And yet, why is it still so hard? Now, you may be asking, well, Grace, don't you already know what people are struggling with because you've been helping them in their homes? Don't you already know the answer to this question? Well, yes and no. Yes, because I have heard from my local clients, but have not heard from you, who I'm suspecting, you who have been listening to this podcast, who we've been hanging out here in the podcast for a little bit. I'm suspecting, correct me if I'm wrong, that you have never hired a professional organizer like me, or perhaps you thought about it, but for whatever reason, you have not taken that leap to hire someone to help you. You are who I want to hear from. And perhaps you do consider yourself an organized person, but you're listening to this podcast because there may be an area of your home, or maybe even in your mind, that you often struggle with or get stuck on and don't know exactly what to do with, that you need some clarification on. And if someone would just tell me how to do it or what to do, then it would solve my problem. And so, for example, to some people, they may be great everywhere else in their homes, but their closet needs a lot of help. They have a hard time knowing what to keep and what to let go of. Now, I want to know what you think, because the things that I think people struggle with might not be what they're actually struggling with. Sorry to keep using that word, but I've heard that word so much, and that's what I want to focus on, the struggle, and hopefully recognize that struggle and help you solve it so that it is no longer one. I want to know what you think, because in your own words, because I have my own interpretation and I have my own point of view of what people need. And I love analyzing and contemplating and reflecting, but I want to try my very best not to put words in your mouth and continue to assume. And so here comes the question after that whole, look at a 4-minute introduction. I hope you didn't mind that. I really had to frame it in order to have, for the question to have some impact. And so here it is. So tell me, here's the big question. What is the single greatest struggle that you face when it comes to trying to reduce the amount of things you have in your home? What is the single greatest struggle you face when it comes to trying to reduce the amount of things you have in your home? Now, you've heard the common things. Is it the emotional attachment to your possessions? The fear of needing something right after you've gotten rid of it? The guilt of discarding gifts from loved ones? Or maybe simply finding the time and the energy to tackle the mountain of stuff that has accumulated over the years. For example, the infamous garage. Now, these are all common reasons, but your struggle might be unique to you, and that is what I want to know. Now, I could also spend the next 30 minutes telling you all about the reasons people find it hard to declutter. And we've done that in past episodes. And I can also list off statistics and quote experts, but I'm thinking that that's not what you need right now. So instead, I would love for you to explore that one question with me, along with 3 other questions. I'll tell you where to find those. So if you can, I want you to take a moment right now to really think about, and maybe for extra credit, write it down. There's power in writing things down. I've said this before, and I really believe it. So really think about and possibly write down what your own personal decluttering challenge is. What's holding you back? What's the one big hurdle that if you could overcome it would make decluttering so much easier and would make getting your home organized quickly so much easier? All right, so I've set up a quick survey for you, and you will find it by clicking on a link that I have set for you below. I don't know if it's below this episode, but you'll find it in the podcast description. I'm laughing because that's what I was used to saying when I did a lot of videos on social media. But find it in the podcast description. It's just 4 questions long. One is the first one that I've already asked you. And then the 3 other ones are like quick multiple choice. Don't overthink it. Just answer it quickly and to the best of your knowledge. And your answer would make such a world of a difference. And I feel like it's going to be a win-win because just to let you know, this is the one question that you can answer for yourself that will get you going, that will get you started, or that will get you restarted in your decluttering journey. And what you will do for me is that you'll be helping me create future episodes and future offers that address the real pressing issues you're facing. And it's a win-win, right? And that is all you have to do. Head over to the podcast description and find the Decluttering Dilemma Survey. That's what I titled it. And now, yes, take a deep breath and answer as honestly as you can, especially that first question. What is the single greatest struggle you face when it comes to trying to reduce the amount of things you have in your home? And to sweeten the deal, when you participate in filling out this survey for me, well, first of all, 1, I want to thank you so much in advance for doing that. And 2, you will be entered to win a $25 gift card to Starbucks. Now, who doesn't like Starbucks? Well, there may be some of you who don't, and that's okay. No judgment, no shame. But I feel like there's a drink for everyone. And, honestly, I would probably, and I have been supporting more of our local coffee shops around where I live. And if I could do that, I would. But because you might be listening to this in the East Coast or wherever you are, I want to know too. It's just a lot easier for me to zap over that $25 gift card over to your email. And so I hope that you will take me up on it. And you know what? If you don't want it, you can re-gift it to someone. You will make their day. And so I feel like this will give us a fresh perspective and a starting point. And it's going to be a great start or a restart. I'm going into 4 years of having this podcast. Now I've had it on and I've published on and off, but I have kept going because I just love this topic. I love helping people get organized, and it's my joy, to help to help you one person at a time, one family at a time. So one more thing before I go, I want you to remember that you are amazing and that you are doing amazing, even with what it is that you could be going through that doesn't feel so amazing. And whatever it is that you're struggling with, just know that you are seen, you are heard over here on this podcast. I think about you. And maybe decluttering and getting organized may have been put in the back burner for you because of a certain life event, a concern that you're dealing with that is far more important than decluttering. And want to encourage you that you're doing the best that you can with what you have and that you're doing just wonderfully, and to keep going. And, decluttering really isn't just about creating more physical space. I really, really believe in this, that it also creates mental space and reduces stress. I know that it might be counter. I like that word. I like to use it a lot, and hopefully I'm using this properly. Counterintuitive to do more work, to move around and declutter when you've got other things that you have to deal with. But there's something about it that clears your mind, and I'm here to help. All right. So now that you are identifying your biggest challenge, you're already on the path to a more decluttered and simpler life. That is, if that's what you want. I hope so. And I think so. I believe so, because you're listening to a podcast like Organize with Grace. Now, thank you again. And I cannot wait to share the results of this survey with you. There's a part where you'll be asked, for your name. And know that I'm not going to personally share your name. I'm not going to share your email with anyone but me. And that you will, as part of subscribing, or actually as part of participating in this survey, I will sign you up in my newsletter, and you can unsubscribe at any time. So anyway, that's just real quick detail for you. And I thank you. Thank you for listening to Organize with Grace. If this is your first time, welcome. If you've been here before, thank you from the bottom of my heart for continuing to support this podcast. And I hope that you continue to find it helpful when it comes to dealing with your stuff, when it comes to dealing with your possessions, also your mindset. And so I want to keep doing that. I want to do it for many years. So again, I thank you, and I will talk to you soon about the results.